Hey again, and welcome back to my craft room. This is card number 2 in my Ranunculus Romance class for January 2022. The second card that we're going to do together today is really just the epitome of simple stamping. There's not much to it. There's a little bit of gold cord. There's a die-cut edging piece in Pear Pizzazz, but the rest of it, as you can see, is just beautiful, simple stamping. A little bit of wash there with a slightly different colour, but yeah, I cheated a bit. Simple stamping and me don't really get together very well. I tend to always be looking for the next thing to add. But anyway, very, very simple. There's not much to the kit even. It almost feels guilty calling it a card. But anyway, you've got a normal sized basic white card base. 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. The difference is with these, I've rounded the edges off with our corner trimmer, which is available in the current catalogue. So it just gives the card a slightly different feel just as soon as you actually look at it. You've got a trim or a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock. And what I've done with this one is actually and I'm reaching here to the other side while I can find it. There's a cute little die in the hand penned flowers. And I did have it here to show you, and I've popped it away. Hang on, I will find it for you. Daffodils Floral Gallery, penned flowers. Here we go. The penned flowers dies. Again, lovely little set of dies. The penned flowers are very popular at the moment. This little edging die here, it's got a lovely little scalloped edge. So basically I've popped a 3/4 of an inch piece of Pear Pizzazz through my die cutting machine with the edge on both sides. So popped it through once to get the top edge, and then again flipped it over and created the bottom edge as well. So that's what you've got there. You might find some of you that yours is a little bit long, so just pop it onto the card and trim it down if you need to. But it's pretty much, it should be pretty much right. And we're going to place that eventually on that sort of right-hand side of our card. In fact, I might place that now, so then we're not going to get we won't let our stamping sort of go too far to the left-hand side. So just grab your little piece of edging, put some glue down there, and probably leaving about 1/2 inch between that and the score of your card. Pop that down. As I say, if it's a tiny bit too long, or seems to be cut at the wrong angle, just give it a little bit of a trim at either end, but that's pretty good. Okay. We're going to bring in our little piece of gold cord eventually as well. I don't know where I was going with that. But we'll pop that on as the last piece. Okay, so that's the last. We need our glue for a moment. You need your Pear Pizzazz ink. Got sticky fingers. You need your Pear Pizzazz ink and your stamp set. So I'm using again our beautiful main image. That's our first stamp that we're going to do. We're just going to do 2 of those, sort of so they go that way and then that way on our card base. So first generation stamping, so straight in onto the card and straight in the ink and then straight onto the card. So as I say, the first one's going to go from the right hand bottom corner over to the left, just like that. It's a lot darker than the original. It'll lighten a little bit as it dries. And the next one starts pretty much where the other one ends off and goes over back to the right hand side of the card. There we are. I mean, however you position those, it doesn't matter too much, just as long as you've got the 2 full images on your card. Then what we're going to do is bring in our beautiful sort of diary entries again, our invoice, almost like a order book. And this time we're going to stamp it off at least once, possibly twice. Yeah, I'd say twice, and then we go third. Yeah. So we're going to stamp it off twice and then come in with the third. We're just going to pop those sort of randomly around the card. Just like that. Okay. And then you can fill in some spots if you want. If you don't want any gaps, you could bring it in again to those little gaps there. Okay. So we've got those. Look, this one's nearly done. There's not much to it at all. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, or second last, is we've got this little cute sort of postage stamp, like post office stamp. And we're going to fill in some gaps with that as well. This one I'm going to have a little bit darker. I'm just going to stamp that off once and then bring it in. Just around the place. There we are. Oh, gosh. I've popped one where I probably shouldn't have. I'm going to be putting our sentiment there. So I probably shouldn't have popped that one there. So be careful with that. At least I've made it a little bit lighter so it's not going to, we'll still be able to see our sentiment. But I am going to bring in the Just For You from the stamp set. And this will have to be single strength, so straight on, and pop it down there. There we are, Just For You. Probably could have popped it up there where it's a bit lighter as well, but in my original I've popped it down the bottom there. So Just For You. Okay. So that's our stamping, not much to that at all. So just to add a little bit of glint of colour to this one, I have grabbed my Blushing Bride ink. And this bit is like totally up to you. You really don't have to do it. But I quite like that little bit of touch of flirt of colour. And a dauber or a sponge, whatever it is that you like to use. I'm just going to give it a tiny bit of the pink and just in the centre of each of those ranuncular. Not much at all, just a hint. And I'll leave that one. There we are. And that just gives them a slight blush of colour. There we are. Okay. So, the gold cord. So you've got gold cord. Some of you have got this sort of really fine gold cord. That's from, it's actually retired. I was cheated a little bit to use that one. But the rest of you have this thicker sort of gold twine from the current catalogue. All you really need to do is hoop that through your card. You are going to see it on the inside, but I don't think it's a problem with this one. Sort of line that up with the centre of your little edging piece that we've got. Just hold that firm and then tie it in a knot, just a double knot. You might feel like you need an extra pair of hands for that. There we are. Trim off the edges. If you've got the thinner version, the really thin twine, you can go around a few times. I've given you a longer length of that, so you can go around a couple of times and then tie off your knot. I'm just going to trim that off. Might position it up a wee bit further, just on the card. I've left that a little bit loose. Come back to that in a moment and make it a little bit tighter. And I'll just trim that off. It's a little bit long, so you can trim them off. And if you're worried about it moving around too much, I would just grab if I can find them, just grab a glue dot or something similar, just a single one, and just position it probably under the knot would be the best place, so it's going to be the least noticeable. I notice I'm off to the right hand side here, apologies for that. Just pop it under the knot. And just use it to keep that little knot in place in the centre of the backing piece. There we are. So it just adds a little bit of bling to that card. So if you've got the other twine, the thinner one, it'll look a bit like that with your knot there. But you, as I say, you can see it on the inside, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. Okay, so that is card number 2. Hopefully you like that one. As I say, the ultimate in simple stamping. Not much to that one at all. Okay, so again, I'll have another bit of a clean up and come back with the last card of this class. Gee, that went quick. Okay,